about troubleshooting fondant. While fondant is a versatile medium, it can sometimes be a little bit tricky, and depending on the weather, it can be temperamental. So let's talk about some of the things that can come up. First, fondant attracts lint and dirt, and once it's in your fondant, it's really hard to remove. So there's a few things that you can do to prevent this. One, you want to start out by wiping down your surface. Always make it a habit to start with a clean surface. You also want to be mindful of what you're wearing. Try to stay away from clothes that have a lot of fiber, things like a fuzzy sweater, especially in dark colors. Also, it is helpful if you wear an apron and if you roll up your sleeves. That'll prevent your sleeves from coming into contact with the fondant. In cold weather, your fondant can be a little bit hard to knead. It's still usable though, you just have to knead it a little bit longer to make it more pliable. Fondant can also be hard to knead if it's too dry. When I break this open, it's a little bit crumbly. We can still try to save it though by adding some more moisture. So I'm going to take a little bit of water and try to knead that in. You can use up to 1/8 of a teaspoon. For a full package that's 24 ounces, I've just got a small amount of fondant here, so I'm just going to really start with a small drop, and then I'm just going to knead that in. Now it's ready to use. If you're working with rolled out fondant that's drying, you can try to save it by using a little bit of shortening to lock in the moisture. And just cover the surface lightly with the shortening. The fondant that I have here is cracked around the edges. You don't have to use that dry outer edge, but you can still try to save that middle part. Your fondant can be difficult to roll for a few reasons. It might be that you just haven't kneaded your fondant enough. You can try kneading it a little bit more to make it more pliable. You might also have difficulty rolling. If your fondant is dry, you can add a little bit of shortening to your surface, and that will help stretch your fondant a little bit when you go to roll it. When you're trying to roll out fondant that's already on the dry side, you don't want to be adding a powder like confectioner's sugar or cornstarch because that's just going to further dry out the fondant. You can see here that the shortening on the mat is really helping my fondant to stretch further. Sometimes your fondant can be a little too soft due to excessive humidity or moisture. It can be difficult to make cutouts in 3D effects like cut flowers. They're going to droop. So then what you can do is take some gum text and knead it into your fondant and then wrap it up and let it sit for about 30 minutes. So here I have some blossoms that have been cupped. If it's a humid environment, if you're just using straight fondant, the petals can end up drooping and look flat like this, even after you've cupped them. So to solve that, just add some gum text to the fondant so you can get this nice cupped effect. If you want to use your fondant cutouts as a cupcake topper like this, you want to make sure that the fondant is dry and set first, otherwise they'll droop. I want to show you an example of one that hasn't set yet. In humid weather, this can be difficult to set. Now this one here actually has the gum text in it, and you can see it's pretty well set. That should stand up just fine. Because the effective gum text can be so incremental and it depends on the size of your fondant, there's no exact amount. It's best if you start with a small pinch. You can always add some more. These issues are actually easy to prevent if you handle fondant properly. So watch our How to Work with Fondant video for more information.